my friends, and welcome to a Sunday night hangout. This is the awkward American edition of the late night smoke. How are you guys doing? It's been crazy up in this motherfucker. Everyone's got stuff going on, and me none the least. How are you guys doing? What up, Horrible? What up, Northern? Sean Fry, Scotty Will, El Papa. We got here. We got Gary. We got Homegrown Meds, Thomas Cooley, Goldie, Curly, Sir Hunt. Oh, we got a lot of GramFam up in here, and we got some of the Grand Borg. Welcome, Chunky. What up, Fontucky? My man. The Grand Borg is 5 strong. We got 5 members. So if you guys aren't up to date on what's going on with that, I'm doing channel memberships. I'm keeping none of the money and I'm putting it towards an editor/producer. So if you guys want to support the channel, literally it's just like every other thing. Like if you like this, if you like my night owl video, my top 5 strains, my top 6 strains for sleep. If you like that sort of content, yeah, become a member, throw me a thanks. As Fontucky says, join up, join the Graham Borg if you're so inclined. There's gonna be lots of cool stuff coming. Free merch, little like I'm doing a Silicium giveaway. So for all you guys that either don't follow me on Instagram or don't yet, there's another one of the Graham Borg, my man. How you doing, Lloyd? Hey, shout out to Australia. Love, love, love all that international Gram fam. So yeah, doing a Silicium giveaway. I'm doing 7 days of Silicium. I got some Silicium bottles that we were going to give away at the DGC Cup. Didn't end up giving them away. So I'm going to give them away as an Instagram production. So all you got to do, follow me on Instagram, go to one of the posts that contain the pertinent information, tag 2 friends. If they follow me, you're entered. Tag only 2 friends. You can do as many entries as you like. But yeah, and for those of you that don't have Instagram, I'll post in the YouTube community page and I'll give all you guys a opportunity over there. I know how I'm really trying to grow my Instagram, but I know how it is. If you don't F with the social media, and I really don't. The only one I really F with is Instagram, and that's just because it's pretty pictures and good vibes over there. So yeah, what up, Captain Obvious? Heisen Turk, what up? Feeling good, man. Yeah, shout out to Mailman. Yeah, the SIs and things, I don't know about the power SI. Is it a potassium silicate? I think it's a potassium silicate. I can't remember 100%. You did make it, Kelly. What up? And yeah, no, it's a so I said in my advertisement for it, it's like most silicas are a polymer. They're not easily absorbable through the cuticle membrane of the plant. So you can't really foliar them, but this isn't a polymer, it's a monomer, monosalicylic acid, and you can actually foliar it, and it goes a really, really long way. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, not Grambo Grows, at Josh Grambo. Grambo Grows is to build Josh Grambo. This stuff, you guys grow this organically, but I'm shadow banned over there on my comedy page, so I need you guys to come over and help me out with that. So craziness. I don't normally talk anything politics. Never. I'm out. I don't do politics. This is the one time I'm going to address politics on this goddamn channel, and I hope it has value to you. If you give a shit about America, if you don't give a shit about America, I'm not talking to you. You're fine. Continue mission, go about. I'm not talking to you, and I'm not harshing on your vibe. You go do you. But if you do care about America, I watched an interesting documentary about the military history of the continental United States. We're interesting country. We're an entire continent, wall to wall, east to west, just one country. We're blocked in by oceans. Both of our north and south neighbors very friendly. They're culturally very same, monetarily very same. We get along very well, even though we have different, border discrepancies and all that sort of stuff. And we dog on Canada like it's no big deal. At the end of the day, when the stuff goes down, North America is a solid block, and we're essentially unfuckable with. There's only one way on earth that an invading army can fuck with the United States of America, and that's if the populace of America decides that we're going to go ahead and civil war it up. And right in the middle of that chaos, that's the time when all of a sudden those water borders and those borders with our friendlies aren't so secure. So this is the only time I'm ever going to address it. If you care about America and you are participating in this red and blue bullshit, I'm going to hold you personally accountable when the apocalypse comes, and I'm not going to be happy. I'll be kind of happy about it. I'm a little bit looking forward to the apocalypse, but that's it, man. We're unfuckable with in this country, except for schizophrenia. That's the only thing that can take us down. And if you think Russia and China doesn't know about that, well, I got another thing telling you about it. So make sure that if you do care, first of all, subscribe to Grambo Crows, hit that like button, and after that, ditch the politics, man. Especially here. So this is the last time I'm ever going to address red and blue. I'm only addressing green from now on. So I'm excited, you guys. So Silicium giveaway is on. Go check out that Silicium giveaway. It's I'm really excited about it. The 5A guys. They are so awesome. They take such good care of me, and so they gave me a little gift basket, and I had a couple in there, and I had a couple from Jaren. I was like, I'm giving all this away. So go get that Silicium over there. Big week for me. It was it's flip. It's a flip. I flipped a flower this week. I am one. Nah, Sir Hunt's lot. That's Jimmy's thing. Maybe I'll run. I'm old enough, god damn it. I remember when I was younger, you have to be 35 in order to be president. And I remember thinking that's so old. Shit, man, that was 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago. Freaking crazy. But I'm so stuck, man. So I have a awesome 5x5 tent, and it's really, really underpowered right now. I have my light from my 2x4 in my 5x5. The DLI, Dutch Lighting Innovations crew, they were going to hook me up with a light. I offered them, hey, can I get like an employee discount on this? And they're like, oh, Grambo, we got you. But I live in a crappy old 1900s Colorado house, and our power is woefully inadequate. It's not wired. The only 240 we have is downstairs, and the Papillon lights, the awesome butterfly LEDs that they have over at DLI, they're a 240 product, so I wasn't able to get those. How dare you, Grambo for president? I would fucking yeah, I would accept that nomination. Although I wouldn't. Here's the thing about being president. Anyone that wants the job isn't qualified for it. Everyone who's qualified for it doesn't want the job. It's a son of a bitch. One of those things. So speaking of the DLI guys, we're gonna hook me up. They were so awesome. They're gonna hook me up. And then HLG, oh, they've been hooking us up. They hooked up Kenny and they hooked up the dude. So I didn't want to ask HLG, Brock, and all those guys. They've been so great too. But if this message does make it to Brock, hey, I'll take a light. But I'm not gonna ask for a light because they've hooked up the DGC so much. So the dude was so freaking nice because he's the dude. He was like, hey, let me reach out to AC Infinity. Hey, thank you, Chunk. I would be proud to have you as my running mate. Free Iowa, 99 cent Iowa, or free Iowa, whichever. And so yeah, dude reached out to AC Infinity, and I'm making a cool light from AC Infinity. It's gonna be one of the Samsung lights, big enough for a 5x5. And yeah, because I was kind of worried this GoPro Solutions. I met them out in Vegas, a nice crew over there, and yeah, it's just underpowered. It's a little light, just meant for it's 100 watt, meant for that. My little blast my 2x4 makes a great veg light. So I'm hopeful. I'm in week 1 of flower, and boy oh boy, if I can't figure out how to get a better light, man, I'm gonna have to purchase something like fast as balls. All right, let's see here. So I am going to take this opportunity. One of the things that I always get every single thing ready, and then the thing I forget to do every single time is email the guests with the pertinent information so that they can join the show. So let me find old Chad Westport real quick. Freaking internet is ugh. Here's the thing. We are all so freaking shadow banned. Like, you cannot find the guy. Like, you have to type in his entire freaking name in order. Ugh, it's just such a pain in the butt. All right, so I'm gonna get that sent over there. So yeah, what are you guys smoking on? I usually like to start the conversation by asking you guys what you're smoking on there in chat. I am smoking on some of this Turpicana from the homie Kyle A over at the Turpicana with taking tops, man. It's they gave we got some Scotty got some over at the bakery, And then the 5A guys got some, and so I was able to grab a gram of the Chem 4 over there. So yeah, got that Trop Cherry, Sir Huntsela out there in Iowa. They smoking them blue Skittles. Right. I can't tell if you're saying that God's gift is live rosin or if that's the strain. What do you got there? We got the Dosey Do. It's cool. I got to hang out with Fletcher from Archive Seeds with Gabe not too long ago. That was a great great time. I didn't realize about Fletcher. I didn't know much about him. And yeah, he's like the savior of the American genetics, eh? So yeah, I got this Chem 4. So Captain Obvious, he's got that Chem D. I got that Chem 4. So it is going down. The number 4 going deep. One of my favorite chems. Yeah. G13. You got that original G13? You know what I want? I want to find that good lemon G. Lemon G is one of the most original strains out there. It is such a destroyer. I don't even know why it's called lemon. They should call it frickin' dude. There's a fly in here. I haven't seen a fly indoors all year. That's my first fly. He found it in my little mini studio. I'm back here within walls and walls and doors, trying to keep my sound down for the little Grambina. And yeah, whew, that was fire. So yeah, I'm excited. This has been a crazy week as far as growing. We had Kyle and Tops in on Jug Dealers. It was pretty freaking sweet. Yo, what up, HG? Yeah, it's really crazy. So they're the ones that sell the ounce of dabs in 2 gram jars, 14 flavors, all put into these awesome little things. I mean, I gotta give up to Kyle, man. He's a hardcore cat. And one of the crazy things, he's like a 5/8 disciple. He grows with DLI, uses new millennium nutrients, runs all the silicium products, the Cyatetics cocoa, pretty crazy. Speaking of which, Societetics Cocoa, I've been fascinated by this. I've been working with Scotty Real for quite a while now, and he's kind of a cocoa king. He knows all about the cocoa, and we tested so many kinds of cocoa for the real bucket system. He's thinking about including cocoa. Is it way too much? I mean, how can we do bricks? Are they worth it? And there was just so much problems with magnesium and calcium from unproperly buffered bricks. And so one of the only bricks that really people were digging on was the canna bricks, and those are, it's canna, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive than your average cocoa brick. But Cyatetics just put out their cocoa brick, and yeah, it self expands into like just soft, pithy cocoa. It's crazy. Properly buffered. So go over to jugdealers.shop and check some of that stuff out. And so, yeah, enter my silicium contest. And if you don't win, go over and buy yourself one of the little mini things. I think they're like $20, $19 or something like that over on the Jug Dealer site. And we're going to be doing some deals. We're working with the Clonex on some stuff. So we're going to be including some free gifts. And I'm going to try to smack the fuck out of this fly if it fucking gets anywhere fucking near me. You fucking piece of shit. All right. Heisenberg. All I can think of right now is Heisenberg, just with the fly. Shout out, put in the comments if you remember the fly. What a great episode. It's called a bottle episode. One of those crazy things. It's funny, Liz, when they don't have money to film like a proper episode and go out into the world and like film and do all that stuff. They call it a bottle episode, and they'll be in one location, one camera, one location. Most of the cast is gone. So you notice the Fly episode, it's really 90% just Bryan Cranston inside a poorly lit studio. And that's to save money. It was poorly lit because they didn't want to turn lights on. It was only Bryan Cranston because they didn't want to pay for any other people. And then yeah, so Dave Bowling, where is Chad's on his way, man. I just sent him the link, so he'll be on his way. I always start out, we open up the show Colorado time, 8:30 p.m. Colorado time, and then it takes about 30 minutes, 20 minutes or so. I hit send on the invite. there, I saw it. Yeah, I sent it. And so yeah, I start out about 8:30, but the notifications take a little bit to go out. You can start the stream and it'll just kind of sit there, but it doesn't send out the flag notification to notify everyone and actually show up in your browse feature. So it takes about 20 minutes before everyone's populated. So I started just doing a little bit of a monologue, man. Chad's not here, man, but he has the link and he will be here shortly. Love Chad Westport. Chad Westport, he is an interesting character. I get to speak with a lot of the cannabis content producers out there. A lot of it's like one of those weird things. What up, Mark? Big Mark, sorry, not to be confused with fucking medium Mark. And so it's like I was talking with nice guy Kenny, and it's funny how like when you get into this, like you hang out so much with these other people, the people that you kind of relate to is like, so I can imagine like the DGC, if they saw Chad Westport, they'd be like, oh, kind of like not nervous, maybe even nervous, but like, don't really want to go up and bother him or anything. And it's like, it's weird because like at the DGC Cup, I feel more comfortable talking to guys like Chad Westport or ICANN THC. So like if you got that weird kinship, whereas I went and talked to just some random person, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, oh, what do you do? Are you smarter than me? Do you do math? Speaking of smarter than me, it's a Dusty, not Dusty, but Dusty on Instagram. He won the DGC Cup with the oh shit, what was it? It was the Black Maple 22. And yeah, he's like a crazy computer science guy who like writes all this crazy code for all these giant companies. I won't dry snitch him out there for all of the companies that he actually computing companies on earth and the most important security systems out there. Hey, Cannabis 5 in the house, and he's rocking his Grambo Grow shirt. Yeah, Grambo Grow shirt. I'm gonna mark him down. They God, Shopify eats me alive on these things. I set up my Shopify so it's set up through a company called Printful, and that way it can just drop ship and I don't have to like go to the post office and do all this stuff. But damn, it just eats me alive. So because I got approved for the members and I've got the 5 strong in the Gramborg, and I trust that there'll be more Gramborg coming online. I'm gonna lower the price of the shirts. I'm just gonna drop them down to 20. That's essentially damn near what I pay for them after all the shippings and the whatnots. I think they double charge us for shipping too. I think someone said they get charged for shipping. I was like, I think I get charged for shipping at least $1 or two. I don't know. That's why Scott has the hanger and warehouse Kyle to take care of stuff, and never trust an artist to do a man's job. So yeah, Chad Westport, man, such an awesome guy. He's one of the guys that definitely freaking I've learned a lot about crop steering. Crop steering has become one of those things that's kind of like a it's like a bad word to say on Dude Grows anymore. Not a bad word, but it's one of those. It's like saying strain dependent. So I don't grow autoflowers yet. I have some night owl seeds that I'm gonna drop. I got some awesome night owl seeds from Daz. He sent some up to the bakery, and because I had them and I was interested in them, and I was doing some stuff out there. Yo, Jimmy, crop steering. Yeah, so I was doing some research and I saw that Cortez was very familiar with it. And, Cortez the Conqueror, that's my buddy. So I sat down with him, did a little interview, and that turned into my Grambo Grows Night Owl video, the truth behind night owl seeds. Yeah, it's at like 68,000, coming in on 70,000 shortly. So definitely a winner. And yeah, Cortez taught me a whole bunch of stuff, like the idea of a bumper crop, right? So I'm gonna have my 2x4 vegging downstairs, and I'll have my 5x5 flowering upstairs. And then, I'm not gonna be like doing a mistime thing. I'll just be flipping strains over. I'll grow 1 or 2 strains at a time, and I'll flip them over. And the when the you get the harvest, like that's it, like it's gonna be at least what 2 months minimum until you get a harvest from that point. So what Cortez offered out there was something that he called the bumper crop, where you throw some veg seeds into your or some flower seeds into your veg tent and just let them go. Don't even worry about it. Just let them go and just let them flower out, and they'll poke up, like they'll raise you'll get a little bit of strange mid-cycle. And I was like, oh yeah, if you time it right, you'll get halfway through your flowering time, you'll start pulling down an awesome auto run. And so I can't speak for all the autos, but I do follow Daz from Night Owl, and dear God, his Instagram's got some dank on it, man. And I'm a flavor guy, so I know that taste, looks, frostiness, bag appeal, meaningless. It's all meaningless. In Cannabis Vibe, you won some, buddy. A bunch of shirts and stuff. I put out a bunch of shirts through the mail when I originally got my first run of it. And they pretty much all got pinched in the Denver post office. I slipped some seeds in there, allegedly. My brother Tosh did, and they pretty much all got taken. So I gotta send me your address, Cannabis Vibe, on Instagram. I'm gonna try to get those sent out to you because you did win it. I remember I said you and Shawnee Mac Grows had won those seeds. So yeah, definitely send me that over, my man. So what else? Yeah, not sure. I should have sent the thing over to chat a little bit faster. Not sure where our boy is, but we will get here eventually. So what else? Yeah, I've been teaching my roommate to grow. It's hilarious. One of the things that just never ceases to make me laugh a little bit is the people's reaction, newer growers' reaction to defoliating when you just stripping it and you're just throwing piles of dead plant on the ground. It just looks like a murder scene. It's like, you killed it. Dear God, you fucking killed it. It's like, oh no, dude, like a week, it's gonna look just like it was. And then high stress training, when you're in there breaking necks, it's always hilarious just to be in there and then like to see it's like, dude, you fucking, they're like bending over, they're dead. And it's like, come in here tomorrow morning, dude. They will be all better. And he's been doing a damn good job. I've been super busy with my all my various projects and then just my downtime and my dadding time and everything. And he's been killing it. Hard not to kill it with AC Infinity and New Millennium, That's pretty much it. I coach him for everything. It's follow the feed chart. Of course, we've only been in veg, and I did all the topping and plant shaping and everything. So I'll have to to get him there. Vlad, overwater much? No, dude. It's he got his first two experience with the growing was in the real bucket system. So that's a bottom feed system. So he got to experience what kind of it looks like to have the perfect moisture level, And so that was kind of just my, small message was just like, emulate that, you saw what perfect water looks like, just grow like that, except for the tops are going to be, it's tough to say. There's our man, Cortez the Conqueror. Shout out to the Autoflower King of Chicago and a ruthless self-promoter. This man is a ruthless I don't tell no one nothing because Cortez will tell him for me. Shout out to you, Cortez. It's good to see you, buddy. Mailman, you always have the best questions. How do you bottom feed recharge? You do not. That's the top dressing. Yes, that's your once a week treat. What I was doing was I was taking some. I would do my top dressing with my recharge, and then I was also taking in flour. I got some of that Plegron Green Sensation. That $1 million a bottle nutrient that you can get out there. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's a PK booster, your bloom booster, as the guys would always say. And yeah, so, what up, Blue Nose? Sir Hans, yeah, it's the butt chugging. You know how we feel about the butt chugging. And so for new growers, it's a great way that you can kind of get familiar with what nice soil but then you're gonna get probably going to get fungus gnats. That's just the name of the game. So don't worry about that when you're top water, and that's just going to happen. But to answer whoever's question who was asking, where's Chad? Where is Chad? Well, I just got notice through my earpiece. Hold on. Yes. Chad Westport is here, and he's going to join us now. What up, dude? did I bring you in while you're eating stuff? This
Maybe.
fat bastard rambling on. or snack while waiting.
I mean, Eggos with a little peanut butter in the middle. Oh,
What is happening?
That's the jam right there.
I thought
That's
you
the
were like
jam.
a healthy person. I just assumed you were like living your best life over there, but you're 3 degrees off of Grambo there, buddy.
It's been a while since I've had a gas station hot dog, but maybe that's just because I don't have enough gas stations around.
I had the equivalent of a gas station hot dog yesterday. We have a Freddy's burgers and steak burgers and stuff, and I got a chili cheese dog from there. Ooh. I ate it, and I was like, I wish I wouldn't have engaged in such behavior.
Never have I ever eaten a chili cheese hot dog and not regretted it like instantly. Like, that sounds great. Okay. Why did I do
God.
that?
I thought you were going to edit just or end it just that I never have I ever eaten a chili cheese hot dog. It's like, bro, I am flying to wherever the fuck you live right now.
Yeah, right. Bring it, ship it to me frozen, man. No dry snitching. No dry snitching. That's awesome.
Yeah, Chad's out there in New York State. He's a North New York State guy, fucking out in Banner Country, as we call
it. If I'm right here, right there,
in Michigan.
Yeah, I'm right there.
My man. Hell yeah. So how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on. It is good to see you. It's I see you more than you see me, but we're not interacting because you're doing your job. You're working with the DGC.
You're a very active member of the community. Not only are you a content creator, you're a content consumer. I see you in everybody's chat, not just DGC.
I like hanging out, man. Chat is where it's at. Chat knows what's up. Like, there's so many awesome people in this community that like travels very good. And I always love it when people say, particularly it's kind of the East Coast, this happens a little bit more, but when they always say like, shout out to Chad, or I want to thank Chat, and like, Chat's awesome tonight. I just hear it as Chad with the regional accent. So that's why I go to so many shows. Everybody's just bigging me up.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. Chad. Yeah. I heard a little rumor that I didn't know about you. This would be me prejudging you. My prejudice would come out, and I looked at you like I just assumed you listened to Banner music. Like, you're out there like Billy Strings and all this stuff. I heard from a bird you're old school metal guy.
Oh, dude, yeah, I love metal, love punk. I was in punk bands for a long time. I was in metal. Always short hair, though. Always short hair. Like, my hair was usually like this long, always shaved.
Interesting.
But yeah, like I loved so like 80s, it was like the hair metal. It was like pop, yes, but I blame that on the older sister. But like hair metal, Motley Crue, Poison, Def Leppard, Aerosmith, like all those like rock stars that were just like glamorized. I'm like, I want to be that when I grow up. So yeah,
that was the era. Gene Simmons used to always talk about that. He said the greatest sin that grunge ever did was the rock stars used to get the money and the girls, and then the grunge movement punted it, and then the rap guys were like, we'll take that, thank you, we'll take the money and the girls and the beautiful cars, and rock never really reclaimed it. It's kind of vulgar to be a fucking posh, over the top, opulent spender, rich
Nickelback.
You want to start a band? Let's do this, Chad Westport.
I'll do it. Can I be the lead singer, though?
Lion. Yes.
Yeah. White Lion is awesome.
I have no sing. I say that I have no singing ability, but I think I do. I'm gonna try. I'm actually going to start a metal band. I've had this idea for Rage Against the Machine style, like metal band that just talks about like weed and partying and getting laid and having fun and. And so I've had this idea for 15 years. And now as I sit in my life right now, it's like, what a great time to flex this other thing I have in my back pocket. The thing I do the best is actually music. It's like, I do all this comedy and production and everything, but I've been playing guitar since I was 12 and just,
okay.
And so I grew up in Slipknot. Musician. I always wanted to be Yngwie. That was always my thing.
I mean, you've got it down, because if you could play that, like, thanks to digital recording today and multi-trackers, you could be your entire band. And if you play piano, dude, you could play any instrument there is under the sun. So You really can be a one-man band these days and just lay all your tracks down and come back and lay some ripping vocals. Be all, yeah, that was my metal. Yeah,
and just auto tune the fuck out of those bitches.
Auto tune.
I got a buddy that does auto tune, and I was gonna ask him, like, dude, could I sing something horribly for you, and you just make it like diva? You know, that'd be sick. I'd be sounding like Ghost. I'm gonna be the next Ghost, Chad Westport. Auto tune.
Oh no, dude. Yeah, working in the studios. That was my job, doing audio engineering, being the engineer of the studio. You got to make sometimes bad stuff sound good, and little auto tune, a little harmonizers. Those really help vocals. Like spread it out and soften the edges.
Like drum triggers and samples and everything. Like, how much of your favorite album drums aren't the drummer barely at all? Shocked the hell out of me. Like, it's hard to record drums, so they just don't.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it digitally. That's always what impressed me, though. That was my mark for any band. Like, if you sound like your album live, then I dig you. There's a lot of cool people and bands that I've seen that just sucked live, and I lost a lot of respect for them. Bop, I believe, was Hanson's hit. Sing it with me now. Bop, 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 bop. Sing it for me. Okay.
I always love the Family Guy, where it's like, the Hanson chick is so hot. He's like, that's a dude. It's like, no, don't. It's like, no, that's a dude.
Dude, raise your hand if you thought ABBA was all girls. Like, I mean, seriously.
Is that like the Swedish?
Staying Alive?
They're all Swedish, right?
Dude, they were the 70s like disco kings. Like ABBA. Staying Alive was their biggest hit, but you'll see them. I think it was Barry, Gary, and like there were three brothers. They had the highest like falsetto voices. But yeah, ABBA, ABBA.
ABBA and that who am I thinking? Like, they're a different band, right?
I gotta Google now to make sure I'm good. But yeah, ABBA is who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
And but who else were they? They were like the Doobie Brothers or something. I can't. Didn't they do Stain? I can't. I don't know. I listen to metal. I don't know anything about other. I know about metal.
Disco
and dubstep. The Bee Gees. Weren't they the Bee Gees?
Bee Gees.
Staying Alive was Bee Gees. Okay.
Good Lord.
So ABBA, yeah. Swedish pop supergroup from Stockholm. Yeah, okay.
Bee Gees is who I was thinking of. Bee Gees is who I was thinking of. I don't know where I got ABBA, but yeah, it was the Bee Gees.
Okay.
Thank you, Chad. Yeah, Staying Alive. Dude, if you listen to them, you would think, hey, I thought they were all girls. I didn't know. They got really high voices.
Dude, I thought Rush lead singer was a woman.
Me too. For about the first 35 years of my life.
Yeah. I remember I had a buddy that was like one of my guitar teachers, and we became really good friends. And he got shit-faced drunk one night and wanted to fight because, like, I thought that he sounded like a woman. He's like, he doesn't sound like a woman. He's like, ah. I was like, oh my God, mental note. Be easy around Rush fans.
Oh, yeah, I know. My biggest favorite, like, metal fuck you subliminal was funny. Like, nobody caught on that Rob Halford and Judas Priest, all they did was like wear leather around. And he lived a particular lifestyle that the majority of the fans were very anti. So that's the ultimate rock and roll fuck you right there. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
The fact that there's a whole generation of straight white male who dress like gay leather daddies from the 70s and 80s. It's an interesting world we live out there. I always think about that, like with like people who are racist that love the NFL, like race jerseys of black people. Is like, well, you're a broken human, you know? Like, those people exist. I don't get people, Chad Westport. That's why I hang out with plants.
Yes, plants are I like plants. Plants and animals. They're awesome. I enjoy them.
They are awesome. We are animals, Chad Westport. It's hard to wrap my head around sometimes, but the more I live, the more I see it.
Yeah, we are animals, with those aviator glasses. I'm glad you posted that pic, man. That was pretty epic. Like, that's an epic
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah,
There's
no,
also,
it's one of those. Go ahead.
I was saying, I remember you were getting some good footage too while you were there, and I remember at one point running across the field to you. I don't know if that
That's what I
ever.
was. That's what I was just about to say. I was gonna say the story behind that picture is me and Chad see each other across a romantic field. It was like, there you is. It was literally, and then yeah, we took a nice picture, and then we took a cool kid picture. Yeah,
Yeah.
Fight was awesome. I loved Fight.
Yes.
Rob Halford's live album Insurrection is one of the best pieces of metal in the history of man. Insurrection is so freaking good. And maybe it could be Resurrection. It's Insurrection or Resurrection.
So what's one of the gnarliest pits you've ever been in? I'm gonna have to say it was probably Motorhead or Slayer.
Ooh.
It was the same concert, so kind of the same pit, but different times of the day. But that was wild. You mentioned grunge earlier, like lived in Seattle. That was when I was going to music. The Teen Dance Ordinance. They just actually put a movie out about that. Anyways, that's back when you just would jump up and down and jump up against each other. You weren't like gah, 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 gah.
Yeah.
And
If
then
you
the
guys
freaking
aren't
mosh pit.
for chat that isn't in the metal world, there's a popular meme that's out there that says "No karate in the pit." Because everyone's just doing these weird, crazy freaking things. Yeah, I actually have my answer for worst mosh pit locked and loaded, and it always surprises people. It is right after their album dropped, 1999, Tenacious D. It was
That would be
insane.
awesome.
It was just Kyle. It was before they did it with the band. So it was just
Oh
Kyle and Jack,
wow.
just the acoustics. And
Oh
dude,
wow.
Davenport, Quad Cities. I'd seen Slayer 12 times, Pantera 3, Sepultura. I've been to Cannibal Corpse, everybody, Morbid Angel. I've seen them all, dude. I didn't see that coming. I got my ass blasted at freaking Tenacious D.
That's
The album had
hilarious.
just dropped. It came out in 99 and it took over the world. So people were going ape shit and and I wanted to get front row. Screw you kids. I'm a Slayer kid. I didn't get front row. One of the only shows
Oh wow.
I wasn't able to get through. It was too brutal. And after that was Black Sabbath at Ozfest, the 2001 reunion. And oh, dude, I almost got my rib cage crushed at Black Sabbath.
Nasty. That would have been badass, dude. You mentioned some of my backups too. Sepultura, Pantera. Those are probably Danzig.
Yeah.
Yep. Danzig.
Yeah, I'm a big the first album, like first and third album is good. I never got much into other stuff, but I'm softening. My friends used to always try to turn me on to stuff, and I'm like, screw that. You know what I've rediscovered recently is Typo Negative. I didn't like them growing up, and now it's like I call it's fuck metal. I was like, ooh, this is fuck metal. You can get down on this.
That was kind of like the transition, I think, away from grunge is some of those bands. Like, I want to throw like Deftones in that category as well, because it was still like hard, but it was a little bit different. It was more metal than grunge, I guess I would say, for Typo Negative. But Jack Black has, he's freaking amazing.
I watched Bowser with my kid 2 days ago, and it's like, dude, it's so surreal to hear Jack Black's obvious voice coming out of Bowser.
Have you ever been to a Guar show?
No. Really. I told Scott was like, we should go to one. I was like, Odorous died, man. It's over. Like, you can still go, but Odorous was the guy. So you've seen Guar?
Yeah. Everybody should go once. Everybody should go at least once to a Guar show.
You think it's still worth
I've gone once. Oh God, yeah. It's dude. When you walk into a venue and there are tarps on the walls for 50 feet from the stage, you're like, this is gonna be a good show. Like, that's the first thing I noticed. I'm like, there's tarps on the walls. This is gonna be good.
What was your first ever concert?
Beach Boys at a state fair or a county fair. Yeah. Wow. And I mean, to date myself, it was back when Kokomo was their big hit song, and John Stamos was filling in on drums for him. because he's actually a regular fill-in for the Beach Boys. Like, yeah.
What? I feel like I might have heard that in a former life, but
It's because it was the 90s, but yeah.
you know what I
John
love is
Stamos.
multi-talented people. I love that. Like when I do stand-up and people find out I'm a musician, the cannabis people find out I do stand-up, the stand-up people find out I freaking do production. It's like, I always think like Joe Rogan, like, oh, the UFC guy does stand-up. Oh, the stand-up guy has a podcast. It's like
That Fear
multi-talented.
Factor guy?
Yeah. I hated, I always loved the Man Show, back when it was out.
Yeah.
And then they, Adam and Jimmy left the Man Show and they got replaced by these two assholes. And so when Adam and Jimmy left, I hated these two assholes that took over. Those two assholes, Doug Stanhope and Joe Rogan.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Yeah. So crazy. That's like in one place, I love you. In another place, I hate you. It's, aces in their places, as old Jaron likes to say.
He was on this show that I used to like called News Radio. Phil Hartman was kind of one of the stars of that show. But yeah, Joe Rogan played like the kind of the surfer, brainless, like repair technician guy that always had rad conspiracies too. And his name was Joe on the show. Probably couldn't remember his stage name. I don't know. But yeah.
I always think that whenever people are named their thing, it's like, were you too dumb to answer to a different name?
It was like the real name was like Jeff, but on day, like the third hour of shoot, the director was like, we're going with Joe. Just going with Joe, change scripts.
Remember that Simpsons episode where he's in witness protection? Isn't that right, man? And he's on his foot. Isn't that right? And he goes, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking. Classic Simpsons joke.
I love the Simpsons.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I was just telling the guys here before we got started that I flipped a flower and I'm limping by. I don't have adequate lighting right now, so I got everything all grouped into the middle. What's going on in your tents, Chad Westport?
Right now I just kind of got some new clones going on. I just put them in their one gals the other day, so kind of starting a new round here. This is the Westport grape juice. And I'm kind of getting a little bit juice, getting a little bit of training going on right now because this was standing up, but I just kind of pinched the stalk, kind of crushed it in my fingers without splitting it. So it's going to kind of lay down, and that's going to send more energy to these to kind of try to grow.
Amazing timing on this. So this is a thing that we had a question at Dude Grows. We're doing the shorts channel now, the Dude Grows Cannabis shorts. And we had a question behind the scenes that we ended up cutting because the three of us couldn't quite agree on the definition of fimming and what exactly fimming does. Would you say that's a fim that you just did there?
Nope, not at all. This I would call would be like a low stress training. So fimming, if I used scissors, like let me grab one that's not, let's see here.
Because for people that don't know, it's fimming is the fuck I missed technique. It's a topping technique where you don't get the entire top. You just get some of it. And then it's a way, if I'm not mistaken, Chad, it's a way of preserving the upper top while still directing auxins down to the lower tops. Like how does, do you know about fimming?
Yep. It kind of delays it. So I don't know if the camera will be able to get close on it, but as you get this growing part, the leaves will they'll come out like this and then start to open. And as they start to open like this, there's the little like crux in here where the new branch will come out. And so if you kind of go to the newest ones and you pull that kind of forming leaf back, you'll see where that little armpit is of the new one. So there would be a node coming out this way, and then the new growth would come up from the center of this. But if you cut it like right where my wrists are, you're cutting the new leaves off, but it's still going to grow from that little node because you left. I hope I'm explaining this right. But
I picture, because there's like a little ball that I consider the top. It's like a little ball, and it's got the little kind of mohawk thing coming off of the ball. And I would just grab the little ball thing and pull it off. And it's like, okay, I topped it. And so you just go everything up into that little node.
Yeah, because as the new leaves like come up to open and branch out, they'll be attached with the little stem, like right here. So as they come up and they branch out, they'll be the stem. If you cut right above that, you're cutting off the leaves, but it still leaves those stems, and it still leaves the next node to branch. So basically fimming, instead of topping it and then just getting those 2 branches, you're actually cutting right above it. So you get those 2 branches plus the other 2 that come out this way. So you get 4 tops instead of 2 tops. So that is the fimming technique. Yeah.
See, I was, this was the debate, is that like, I knew the first half where I was like, no, that's the fuck I missed thing. It's where you don't get it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then dude was like, oh, but it's the thing where you get more tops. I was like, well, I don't know about that. I never did it. I just topped normal. So this was like yesterday. So I'm so glad to get this cleared up now.
It's cool. I'll send you some pictures because I was doing an article for it. So on the last round that I grew, I took some. Thank you. I took some pictures that kind of describe the armpit that I'm trying to describe and how the leaves come up. So yeah, I can send you those pictures, and then hopefully that will get out there. ChadWestport.com. Woo-woo! Hey. And my website is actually up right now. Yes.
Hey, Harvey, go check that out. ChadWestport.com. Yeah, do you build it yourself?
Dude, I went with Wix. So I've had my domain for over 3 years now, and I went with WordPress because I was like, the SEO is better with WordPress. I don't know how to do WordPress, but I could figure it out. They have templates. Dude, I did not figure it out in 3 years. So with 2 days left, on that 3-year subscription, I changed the domain over to Wix. I did it in like a month because I was busy. I could have done it in a week. And now it's up. And now it can do everything that I wanted it to do for the last 3 years. But I was worried about SEO, which is search engine optimization. If anybody's not familiar with it, it's basically how Google like steers you people. But I'm also not really thinking about that. Like all my traffic's probably going to be organic anyways. So screw SEO.
I was in a very high level meeting with people that I can't even talk about here. And in the meeting, like everyone's so dead set on like winning that like a heated argument got over SEO, where one party was like, come on, man, SEO's dead. And the other party's like, SEO's dead, and like slam their fist on the table. It's like, what are you saying? And they're like, everyone looks at me, Grandpa, what do you think? And I go, it's a nuanced topic, man. I was like, what is your goal? You know, like SEO on YouTube, dead. Okay, so in my ecosphere, yeah, sure, it's dead. But if I'm trying to retarget market thing through a Google Pixel on someone's Facebook account, yeah, I'm probably, gonna go that way.
Yeah, it's a wacky and weird world, man. And there are always people trying to game it. And that's why Google's always changing the algorithm. So it's a constant cat and mouse. I used to do it professionally probably 10 years ago now. I say that just taught me enough to know that I don't know anything. And everything has changed since then 100 times over. So it's like, I know a little bit, but I just kind of get by, man. I honestly know I would do a lot better if I did like keyword searches and target and all that. But I don't have time yet. That's on my wish list because I'd love to geek out on that stuff. Like it's pretty fascinating. I just don't have time to dive down it.
Obviously, people will always ask me like for feedback, like like, oh, what's the yada yada, and they never like my answer. It's the answer newbies ask. It's something that I learned from Mr. Beast, and he says, when you are talking of the word algorithm, when you're discussing your video, simply replace the word algorithm with audience, and that will fix all of your problems. So when you say, hey, the algorithm really hated this one, you go, hey, the audience really hated this one. Boy, the audience sure buried this. Boy, the audience just didn't give 2 fucks, did they? And then that fixes everything. Once you take responsibility and start changing variables and testing and A/B testing, Chad and I discussed, he turned me on, like, everyone thinks I'm Johnny producer. No, Chad Westport turned me onto A/B thumbnail testing in YouTube. So take that, armchair quarterbacks out there doing your homework, Chad Westport.
I won't tell you all the times Grambo's helped me with stuff. I'm taking the credit.
You got me and High C in a room. Yeah. And if you know something that neither me or High C know about, you know some shit. And so, yeah, you got us.
I love it.
Although it really was kind of a kick in the pants because it's like I make a lot of thumbnails. So I make like 4 dude grows, a Jug Dealers, and 2 Grambo grows, and that just doubled.
I know, I do. I'm making 3 thumbnails for every like normal video because I have some boilerplate ones. I have some boilerplate ones that I don't want to change. Like consistency, there is something to be said for consistency too. But yeah, there's
Brand
some other
awareness.
videos. Yeah, yeah. I worked
On
for
the
a
last Jug
company.
Dealers. Oh no, go ahead. I love hearing your background.
I worked for the audio company I worked for. They had been in business like 30 years. They were so sensitive of the logo. Like you could not change it. You could not alter it. If you did not leave this, the right amount of border space from any other text, any other images, we would let you know. They were so protective of their logo. And I just thought it was kind of crazy in the beginning. But further on as I worked there, I was just like, brilliant. Like, yeah, that job in particular changed a lot of my opinions on how things can be done. Not necessarily should, but can be, and that was one of my takeaways.
When you take on the it's one thing to be in the comments and voicing your opinion. It's another thing to take on the role of a professional whose job it is to not just say no and fuck off. You actually learn some things. It's the damnedest thing.
Yeah. It was cool, man. It was a really cool company. It was audio. That's what I did. And the people that worked there, they started the company when they were young. They were in their 60s by this point. And they treated. I worked there for almost 10 years, and there was one guy who was like lower tenured than me. Everybody had worked there for like 20, 25 plus years. It's crazy. If you treat people right and pay them what they're worth, you get more production, you get better products, and you have happy people.
Yes.
Get the hell out of here. And we were expensive.
I don't know if I've ever told Chat's probably heard this story, but I don't know if I ever told you it. I had worked with Dude Grows for about 3 weeks, and we had settled on a price. Everyone was happy. Like, this is what it was. 3 weeks go by, and him and Brett and Scott like have a phone call with me, and they're like, "Hey, we want to pay you more."
I love that.
You're like, no, yeah. Like we're gonna give you like 25% more. Cool. I was like, what's the catch? And they're just like, nope. We want to keep you. We want to make sure that you're living in Denver. You can live. And so I'm loyal. That's why I went. Just like I'm loyal to the soil with those boys. Like I've worked a lot of freelance, Chad Westport. I've never had anyone be like, we like you. Can we pay you more? So that's how cool Scotty and Brett are. Legit. Great guys.
I believe it, and I've experienced it firsthand too. Like they've been, very kind, very generous, and helping with me too. So I've seen it even, like behind the scenes. And it's funny you say that because this job, when I came up, I was in Portland living, and one of my DJ buddies who had worked at the record store with for many years. It's funny, there were only 4 of us that did what we do, and 3 of us all worked at the same record store. So they kind of like cherry picked us all. But I was in Portland, and I drove up for the day for the interview and just to say hi. And I did the interview, and I went and met with another person. And on my way out, they handed me a check for like $80 for gas for the day. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we know you came all the way from Portland for this interview, so we wanted to cover it. I'm like, damn, I didn't get the job, but I got the job, so it worked out. They were just that cool.
Yeah. No, it goes a long way, man. It literally taught me everything. Like when I had like this secret stash gig a couple weeks ago, and I wanted some help filming it. I paid him like quadruple. He's a fellow comedian. I knew that he's broke and everything. I knew the job was worth like $30. I was like, here's a quarter of weed, $100. I'll pay for your parking.
Hell
meals
yeah.
on, literally just because that's how I was brought up in this world. And spoiler alert, people appreciate it.
They do. High tide raises all boats, man. Like seriously, like because I've been in a down position before. I had like $2 for food a day. I slept in a van while I was going to audio engineering school. I kind of know what that is. But when you get to a position, and I always relate it this way with music, like for many years, I was always on the guest list, right? Because I knew the people, they wanted, whatever. I was a musician, so I was always on the guest list. And then there was a point pretty much when I started working for this company where I could pay that $5. I could pay that $10 cover. And yeah, sure, they would still put me on the guest list. But you know what? I was the person on the other end, like waiting for like them to count out money at the end of the night so I could go get some food after the show. So I'm going to happily pay that $10. And that's what I encourage people to do. It's like, I don't tell people how to spend your money. But if you ever get into a position where you can try to, like help and give back just like that, do it. And you'll be surprised that just your world around you changes, man. High tide raises all boats.
It's preposterous. It sounds like hippy dippy religious nonsense. But
Until you go through it.
the minute I turned off my brokey gene and was just like, spend it, do the thing, buy the thing you need. The thing you need, buy it. Like I remember I had gotten my Trump check back in the day, and I was in the black market, and I just pulled out a real proper harvest, big old, and I gave it to my brother Tosh, who did whatever he did with it. So like my harvest came down the same week as I got my Trump check, and I had like $6,000 of just cash just sitting there in 20s. And I was like getting into editing, and I was like, dude, I could like pay off some debt and like get some new tires for my car, or I could go buy a $6,000 workstation at Micro Center right now. Yeah. And I just had like a panic attack, and I was just like, yeah. And I just grabbed my keys and got in the car and drove to Micro Center and spent $5,800 on the computer that cut my teeth, that got me the Dude Grows, yada, 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 yada. And up from there,
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you did that, because there is a lot of reinvesting in ourselves. That computer is a real thing. Like legit, the computer I have now to edit on, I've never owned like nice cars, but it was more expensive than 90% of the cars that I paid for in my life.
Right.
And it's not that crazy expensive of a computer. It's lower price than what you're talking about.
They're always expensive. That's the secret about computers. They're always the most expensive they've ever been, because they're always getting better. It's a kick in the pants.
To do it right, though, because you do see a difference when you have like quad cores or multi cores for video editing. You taken a 20-minute render down to like 2 minutes. You can get stuff accomplished. It makes a difference. So reinvesting in yourself is important too.
Couldn't run Blender. Like I was trying to run Blender, I literally could not run it. It would not run. And so now that computer is now sitting in the Jug Den at Jug Dealers. So when I hooked up with them, they didn't know if I was going to build their channel, so I couldn't walk in and be like, hey, I need a $5,000 PC, right? So I didn't even bring it up, and I just brought my own computer, and we've been using my home tower in the Jug Den. I just use my laptop now at home. Funnily enough, my current laptop's more powerful than that PC from 2021.
Wow. Now what you do is you just send them an invoice. You're like, I forgot to send this to you guys. You've been renting this the whole time. You guys have been renting this.
Just as I could say how generous Dude Grows is, Jug Dealers, the 5-8 crew, they've been equally as generous. Nice. Cannabis people, man. One of the things that I'm learning about this is that, speaking of like the black market days, right? There might have been a time where I meet Chad Westport at a concert, and then it's like, hey, I like you, and I might come to your house tomorrow and give you $20,000 in cash and just be like, see you tomorrow, because our word was our bond, and the system didn't work if your word wasn't good. And so now all of us legacy guys that are coming up, you just know, I can trust Chad Westport. Like we traded pounds.
You're either really trustworthy, or you're going to be a freaking snake, man. But if you ask around and you know enough people in different parts of the country, you can figure it out. Because there are a lot of people who have moved. They're like, damn, I'm out of country now.
Yeah. When I got with the 5-8 guys, I had to like disclose my past, where I was like, I was a drug dealer since I was 12. I did all this. I'm one of you. I'm just like you guys. I just, got into production. I'm wearing my blazer. There's like, who the fuck is this guy? What do you know? I was like, I'm dirty, baby. Let's go. So what got you? We probably talked about it on some other show, but I've never picked your brain here. What was the thing that got you into growing?
Just kind of, I had the ability to do it, and I had,
because I could.
Because I could, right? Well, dude, I didn't have a ton of money, and cannabis is always expensive, and sometimes you had to, wait for it. You had to get it. So I'm like, why not grow it myself? I don't need a whole bunch. And I just kind of had to figure it out. Like, there were forums, but I didn't really have mentors. Like, I knew people who grew, but it was kind of one of those things still, you didn't really talk about it, because a lot of the people that I knew were just like living fast and wild. So it's like, don't confide your everything with them. They're happy to tell you about all the stuff they're doing, but
most everyone in chat's growers. So if you guys aren't old school growers, imagine that those pounds are like worth 4,000, 4,800.
yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
it's a nice time to be a baller. And I was too pussy. I was never big scale back then. I waited until the heat died down.
Yeah. I never went big. It was always just really kind of about taking care of myself, because Pacific Northwest, man, there was never a shortage. There was always like people growing. So I think a lot of it came out of here. I mean, obviously California and Vancouver too, and Oregon, the whole West Coast, West Side. Sorry, Central. But yeah, there was a lot of good weed, but I just wanted to do it. It's fun.
What was the first gear you grew? Do you remember?
CFL bulbs with like splitters. So you get the little like Y splitter from the Home Depot, and then the CFL bulbs, and they're the hanging lights. So they're the hanging lights with a little like metal dome over it, but you take the metal dome off because the Y splitter and the CFL bulbs don't fit underneath the metal dome. I had a bunch of those in a closet, just like literal closet. With some, I didn't have fans.
That dates you. Like there's that era of like it was chaos, and then there became the sun, and then there was the Sun System vented hood era. That's when I came up in. Like Sun System, triple XL, vented hoods, string them in line 4 at a time, Oh, you know what I don't miss, Chad Westport? Sealed hoods, venting. Oh my God.
I did run HPS for a while, and it was the air-cooled hood with the glass under the bottom, and it was fine because at that place, I had built like a false wall in the garage, and it went my vent went up from the garage into the attic, and then I had it out one of the upper vents, because that's like one of the best ways to do it. If you could vent up above, higher than most things, take that opportunity to do it, because it's a lot less conspicuous. So yeah, that place was like money. I enjoyed that place. It was funny. I had an electrician come and do some wiring and add some extra outlets in the garage. And when I sold it, like I deconstructed all the walls and stuff like that. But the realtor's like, "Why do you have boxes hanging from the ceiling?" I was like, "It was a wood shop." He's like, "Cool."
Oh, yeah. Aaron was telling me stories about when like there was office buildings downtown, and you get off on like the 12th floor, and it'd be like offices and people working. You get off on the 15th floor, big offices, people. You get off on the 14th floor, and it's plants everywhere you could put a plant. Hallways, offices, bathrooms, kitchenettes, like anywhere that you could, like literally there was grows on tower floors of skyscrapers in Denver. Yeah, because
that's awesome.
They needed anywhere you could grow. It was absolute chaos back in like 2010.
And I bet they could have afforded the rent too. Like the rent was not even an issue. They're just like, how do we get the materials up here? Do we use the freight elevator at night, or do we go through the front?
There was a time I would go to the power office and I would pay my $1,600 monthly power bill in 20s.
Oh, Jesus.
And just rack them out, some hundreds, but mostly 20s.
And they smell too. Like when I was, I lived in Santa Rosa, California, back in like the early 2000s. I was doing audio engineering school in San Francisco. I lived up in Santa Rosa, and every year there were a couple dudes that would come down from, the Emerald Triangle. They'd come off the mountain, and they'd buy brand new surfboards. They buy new snowboards. They were basically getting set up for the system, and they always had rolls of cash. Dude, that money smelled like weed so bad. It was hilarious. Like we all knew them because they came in every season and just bought new everything. And there's like,
you ever think that
off the
when
cash.
Like bags or money or anything like that in that sort of thing, does it start to almost not smell like weed anymore? I always found that like it starts to smell like BO in a way where I was like, what is this horrible smell? It's like this, I smell it on all my duffel bags. It's like it's someone's armpit. And I seem to be the only person that experienced this. When a lot of weed gets acrid on things over time, it starts to smell like humid acridness more than even weed. I don't know how to describe it.
the weird like skunk terps hang out or something. That's kind of the, it's like if you, and this has happened to me a lot, and it's misled me a lot too, but if you leave like a bag of weed like in the car or something, or like in a hot area, and you come back, and this is more so the days of like the Ziploc bags, kind of applies to glass too, but you come back and you open it and you just smell that like kind of that like sour but sweet nose tingling, like, ooh, that's skunky, man. You're like, I think I found the skunk. And it's not, because it's just different. But there's something about like heat and then kind of like storing it. Yeah, that can bring it out.
It's funny. You talk about when you get weed in plastic bags and stuff. There are dispensaries in Denver that still sell you weed in fucking sandwich bags, and they just put an MED sticker on it and ship it out to you. It's goddamn hysterical.
That doesn't fly in Washington, but I do remember a few trying it. Yeah, no.
That's so funny. No. Yeah, I don't know about the actual statutes of it, but yeah, they have some of the best weed in town. They have some of the best weed in town, and it's fucking in sandwich bags with a stupid MED THC, warning logo and everything. But of course, that's where you get the good weed. I almost wonder if it's kind of a joke rather than just being ghetto. You can get cheap Chinese things, I think it's kind of like a wink, like keeping it real sort of thing.
Right. It gives a little bit of street cred, but you want to know what is a freaking joke when it comes to packaging? Edibles. Have you ever been able to open one without like a car key? Or like just ripping it
on medical, it's pretty good. They just it's just like a little childproof push down. But yeah, on recreational, it's like a package inside of a package inside of a package.
Fighting with that, like I swear they can make bulletproof vests out of that material, but like you have to like stab it a few times with a key, and then you can like pry it open, and then your candy goes whoop, pick it up off the car floor. I mean the carpet, and pop it in your mouth.
Yeah, I might have dropped an edible on the carpet and picked the hair off. I got a daughter now, so
okay.
It's all good. You just get the hair off. It's fine.
So would you pick up a 5 milligram edible, or where do you draw the line? You pick up a 20 milligram edible? What's your line? What's 50? Yeah, I'd pick up a 50. I'd pick up a 50.
Yeah. That's a hilarious question. There was a really, really dank nug that fell on the floor of the bakery, and I was there for like 2 days. I was there on a Monday, and then I came back on Wednesday for the Wednesday show, and it's still there. And I was like, group question: who would smoke that? Who like? And I think Scott said he'd smoke it. He's a gang.
I'm not surprised. He's an animal. He'd be like, "I'll do it if nobody's gonna do it. I'm gonna do it."
Awesome. He was saying the other day, he's like, we were talking about ozone generators, and he's like, "Oh man, I've spent so much time in ozone generators." He goes, "Wait, Grambo, maybe that's why I can't taste weed."
Oh no. That would be horrible.
I was like, I can't argue necessarily, boss.
Oh, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be good for you. I wouldn't know, but yeah.
Tom just made some 500 milligram gummies. Nice. Making gummies at home, it's got to be a pain in the butt, right? I don't want to deal with gelatin.
My hard thing with so I've made like lollipops, which are easier because you could get the silicone molds, but the metal molds. That's what it was. It was because you have to heat it up so hot. I wasn't able to find a silicone mold to use for gummies. So what are people using? Because I kept looking for like the metal pans. Because when I did the lollipops, like I'm not an expert chef at all. I have friends that'll do this for me now. But you really had to boil it down and boil it, and you pour it in, and
they have those things like the like cooking trays that are like the weird rubbery shit, I think
the silicone, like silicone stuff. Yeah, but I figured this stuff would be too hot for the silicone, even though they make dab mats out of silicone now. But that can't be good, man.
Let us know, chat, if you make those gummies. Let us know what's going on there, because I got some JR token butter from him, and it's really, really, really good. It's just enough green. It's clarified, and it's just enough green to let you know that it's in there. And I made some Ghirardelli cookies or whatever. Oh, dude, they were lethal.
Chocolate. Very nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Thank you for your support, man. Appreciate it. have a good evening, and I hope you have a great start to your week.
The
Enjoy.
gummy machine.
Levo Gummo machine. All right, I'm gonna Google this on the other page now. I've got the Bee Gees up. Wow, I'm sorry, Bee
Dude,
Gees. I didn't mean to say ABBA.
So I went to Google it and I had ABBA up.
That's funny.
I'm
We're two
bald. You
cool
got long
guys.
hair.
Gummy machine. Oh, you know what? Is this the Rasufa does a lot of oil videos, like cooking videos, and I think he has this Levo machine. Now I'm wondering because the name is familiar, but I don't know if he did gummies at all. Yeah, the Levo Lee oil infuser. I think he was just doing a video with that. Interesting. Okay, sorry, I'll stop googling. But yeah, like I would love to do some of these things, but I've been trying to like save a lot of my extra material for just like bubble hash, water hash. So I much more prefer making that. Not that I'm any good at it, but I get the job done. I get the job done. I'm not entering contests, but I get the job done.
My problem is I walk into dispensaries. Like I went in to grab some edibles 2 days ago, and we got these wild gummies here with a Y, wild, and they're like really, really good. You get 1,000 milligrams. They're like $35. And I walk in, they're like, hey, it's 2 for Tuesday, 25% off the gummies. I'm like, dude, I'll take like 5. So I walk out there with 5,000 milligrams for like $100. Yeah, it's just like it's so hard to like dispensary because it's so competitive here. They're on penny margins in Denver.
Right.
Brutal for them. Great for great for me.
It's great. That's the free market. That's a free market. Let it sort out the winners. Yep.
And yeah, to the top, you're seeing like companies that had extra fat on them, like the extra packaging and the extra bullshit. They're falling off.
Yeah, I mean it's hard when there's saturation in the market because you do have to do something to stand above the rest. Sometimes that costs money that mom and pops don't have that like the larger corporations do. But the larger corporations have kind of cannibalized that and they never learn how to grow it good. So there's just like, that's why I tend to see like so much price shopping is just, it's really all kind of the same quality unless you pay way too much. Like $60 eights just because it's actually like decent weed, that should not be okay.
Yeah, I've always said that like one of the things that kind of is an interesting parallel to the old days to now, like living in Denver especially, is like back in the day, in order to get good weed, like you could find someone at school or at work, they could get weed, but in order to get the good weed, you had to like know the guy, right? Well, now in Denver, there's 1,000 dispensaries in Denver proper. There's 1,000.
Damn.
Crazy. So how do you find the good weed? Well, you got to know the guy. like the I talked about, you'll notice I didn't mention its name because like it's a local secret. You don't go the place with the plastic bags that has the dank. Oh, you don't really blast them out there because the last thing you want is for them to,
There's people have made entire like careers out of that in LA, like being the guy who knows the dispensaries or the place to get the packs, to get like the good stuff. Like it's kind of crazy because they're freaking like can of celebrities in that world. And it's like you just curate good weed. That's you don't grow it, you don't sell it, you don't really touch it.
Crazy place. I went to this business and self-development seminar thing that came to Denver, right? And I'm sitting there talking to the guy after like the class is done, or maybe it was just in break. And I was just talking about like, well, dude, I'm kind of in a similar space of like brand marketing, and I work with like behind the scenes, like I do on camera stuff, but then I work with 5/8 and stuff, doing some of like their actual like business stuff. And I was like, I don't understand, like, how do you live in a Santa Monica mansion that like yada yada yada? I just don't see how the economics work. And he goes, "Can I tell you something that no one believes?" He's like, "I live in this $10 million a year mansion for free because the guy that owns it is bad with girls, and I just bring hot women to his parties, and we call it." And he goes, "It's arbitrage." He says it's pussy arbitrage, and he seems to think it's a good value. It's a $10 million value to have pretty girls around him, and so he just walks around Santa Monica going, "Hey, you want to go to a party tonight?"
Yeah,
And they go,
yeah.
"Yeah."
I've known that guy. I've totally known that guy. Yeah.
It
The
literally blew
place
my
everybody
mind.
wants
I'm
to
at a
be.
business seminar learning from these guys, and I was like, "What's the trick?" And he goes, "Pussy arbitrage." I was like, "What the fuck? I'm living on a different planet than these people. $10 million? What? Oh my
Yeah.
God."
Hey, man, as any club owner would tell you, if you bring the girls, the guys will come. So you just get a few girls there and always make sure they're taken care of. The guys will come. And yeah. Sometimes there's kickbacks at the bar for people they bring up and how many drinks they buy them. And no, it's not really alcohol in their drinks. It's just straight Coke. But we'll tell you it's a Jack and Coke because they're doing this to a lot of guys all night.
Yeah, I got approached
Allegedly.
by my first sponsor, and immediately it was like some pretty girl, and I was like hypnotized by like, "Oh yeah." And then my like smart gene kicked in. I was like, wait, what are we talking about now? No. I pass. Is some I won't even talk about it. Some stuff that people of the connoisseur of the dank we can't be associated with.
Yeah, in the music world, we always called them the booth honeys, and that was their job. They brought you over to the booth.
That's so funny. Reminds me of my ex, the last girl I was dating. She always would say, like, she's like, if you do comedy, I'm always worried about those chuckle sluts. Like, get away from
That's
them.
awesome. Chuckle slut.
I don't know why that's made me laugh for a year. Chuckle sluts. What the fuck?
Grambo, have
That's
you had
actually
groupies? Grambo's
the damnedest
Groupies
thing.
actually sounds like a good name. Like that should be.
Have I ever told you the story about the only time I've ever been recognized from Dude Grows?
No.
Yeah, it's happened one
Comedy
time.
groupies are probably better though. Dude Grows people are pretty cool. But please tell me.
So, Dude Grows reminds me a lot of being in metal bands, where whenever you meet girls, they go, "Oh, my boyfriend loves you."
Yes.
I go, "Yep, I'm very big amongst the boyfriend demographic. Very big.
Yes.
Very popular."
That was freaking hilarious. Yeah. As a person who DJ'd, I DJ'd drum and bass.
I got recognized on Tinder by a swinger couple.
Ooh.
And the woman messaged me, and she goes, "Are you Josh Grambo from the Dude Grows show? I have no clue who you are, but my husband loves you."
Oh no.
At least this time they came with a girl. So shout out. So the thing that blows my mind, so obviously I didn't follow through with it. I was like, I'm going to sleep on this. Woke up the next day and just deleted it. I was like, I don't want to get involved with that. The thing that blows my mind, I don't really remember anything about them. And they are out there. They're still out there. They might be in chat now, and I wouldn't have any way of knowing. They're Dude Grows fans. So shout out to you. I'm fully single right now. I will take you up on the offer now if it's still.
All I'm saying is if you do manage to go somewhere with some nice lady, check the closets, okay?
Check the closets, Chad Westport. That's the thumbnail. Dude, I gotta get to. I consider myself a bit of a connoisseur of all the there's like the cool kid strains, the Paloma, the fucking the this and that. I would say the grape juice is up there, and I got FOMO that I'm missing out. What would you say is the top profile on that? What are the parents?
Did I not give you a pack of the Westport posse? Oh, buddy. Okay, well, we'll have to arrange that after the show. Okay. But yeah, so the Westport grape juice itself has like a distinctive, like a wine grape. There's a little bit, it smells like a candy grape while it's growing. As it cures, it matures into more of like a nice like wine grape. You still, oh boy, you still get the grape flavor. There's a creaminess to it. It's really smooth. And then on the exhale, there's just like a little bit of gas that tickles that one spot in the back of your throat. That's the Westport grape juice. The Westport's Posse, which is the S1. So it's the South version of that. I feminized it, pollinated a different, clone, same plant, Westport's Posse. It came out different than the Westport's grape juice, which I didn't really expect, because a lot of times you sell things, you get pretty much spot on. But what I got is the relatives, which I think is awesome, because I now know where the gas comes from, like definitively in that. Because I ran out 20 myself. I ran out 500 with testers. So I was able to get pretty good like morphologies and profiles and ratios with that. So there's one that has like a tucked leaf morphology. So if your leaves are out like this, the fingers of the blades are just kind of tucked like this. And that came out all gas, like single note, nothing else, all gas. And that came out at like a 2 to 3 out of 10 in the Westport's Posse. Another one that came out like 2 to 1. It's got like a vanilla creamy, like graham cracker crust and frosting type profile to it. So again, it's smooth. It has that creaminess, but there isn't like grape to it. More vanilla.
Weird.
And then there is one that is like 1 out of 10 was like the Westport grape juice. So there's a few different phenos. Yeah, there's a few different phenos. Sorry to be so long-winded on that answer.
No, I'm super fascinated on recessive traits. I grew up with my best friend, and they were 3 brothers. And it always was weird to me. The oldest brother was a goddamn clone of the dad. The middle brother was a clone of the mom. And the youngest brother was a 50-50 hybrid of both. And I'd always look at that. And the minute I started growing plants, I went, recessive genes. I get it. They're expressing.
Yes. Yeah, that's a fun thing. That's what I like about making crosses, is you really get to see, which parent it came from. Because I always say, grow your plants for at least a couple years before breeding with them, so you're familiar with them. You've put them through like good times, you put them through bad times. You know what the yields will look like. You know what that plant wants to do in different conditions. So when you mix the two, you're able to see that. You're like, oh, you're like mom, or like, oh, you're like dad, or yeah, you're the perfect hybrid.
I just can't help but this is
thing.
dating advice. You're just giving good dating advice now.
Oh, shoot.
You got to work with them before you breed.
Work
with them for months, if not years. You got to get several paths in there before you breed with them.
Nobody wants to spend years working on an 8, so make sure that you got a 10 before you breed. Yes.
Fawn Tucky wants to know about the effects. Does the posse
Absolutely.
Does the effect mimic the grape juice, or do they go off into 3 different paths as well?
Yep. The effects are very similar. Like I go for it at the nighttime. It makes me a lot more just kind of like relaxed, chill, just kind of like enjoying things instead of feeling like zoomed or, rushed around. So usually things I go for in the evening, the all gas one, like if I really want to like, put it to myself, that's usually, I think it's jar 13 I have in there right now, jar number 13. That's the all gas pheno, and that's when I like want to just like, okay, let's get dumb and drool.
That's interesting. So I grew up very much like flavor guy. Weed kind of affects me. I'd say 95% of weed affects me very homogenously, to the point where I was almost dubious when people would be like, oh, it does this and it does that. Right. And then like 10 years ago, I smoked this bubble hash with my buddy, and instantaneously I just got paranoid. And I was like, hey man, I'm not freaking out, but this hash makes me feel like I'm going to freak out. And I was like, holy shit. And every time I smoked it, I was like, so there you go. It took me 15 years of smoking, but I finally found an entourage effect that spun me out. And I go, oh, they're not lying. It really is. Like, it affects you crazy like that. So normally back in the day, I wouldn't even ask that question. Effects, get the fuck out of here. It gets you, I'm the reverse of Scotty. Scotty's like, it gets you high. It doesn't matter what it tastes like. I'm like, it tastes amazing. It doesn't matter how it gets you high.
Right. It's like everything pretty much at this point is going to give you a buzz. So like the taste and the experience is a big part of it for me. The effects, definitely. If you're going medicinally, that's going to be the most important thing. But sometimes you just kind of want to get baked. And like you said, though, there is so much hybridization. I don't like, if you put 10 strains in front of me, I may be able to like 2 hit me different, but 8 of them are probably going to hit me kind of like the same. But I do have stuff Nice, Tom. Nice. Yeah, the Tux Leafs, man, it's an easy giveaway and it's easy to see early on.
See, and I'll
Yeah,
give
no.
a shout out to Chad Westport as a breeder. I can't tell you how many people I've interacted with. And when it comes to like things like spotting phenos, they have the mum's the word. Like you never even hear people bring it up, let alone tell you the cheat codes. I'm like, oh, bro, here's the dead giveaway. Like that's badass, Chad.
That's I thank you, man. That's something that I feel is very important because it's
It
also
is.
kind of the sign of like the videos too. It's like I test stuff before I give stuff to my testers because again, like I really don't want to mess your garden up, and I don't want to mess the testers' gardens up either. Even though they're willing to take a little bit more risk, so I test it myself and then I send it to them, and then once I'm good, you know, out to everybody. So yeah, it's important though. If a grower or if a breeder isn't able to tell you like what to expect or different phenos and actually have that be accurate, they might not be growing out their gear. They might not be testing it. They might not be looking at it like everybody should. And again, you put yourself on the line when you say, well, this is what you can expect. If people get completely different things, they'll be like, this guy's just full of S, you know? But if you're able to like tell people what they're gonna kind of expect, and then that's actually what they get, and this has happened to me, which is why it's important to me. I'm like, well, I'm gonna try his gear again. You know, I like the description of that one, and that's what I kind of want to try. And if they were honest and right the first time, why wouldn't they be the second? So yeah, it's important.
That is essentially the thesis of the second Alex Hormozy book. I don't know if you're familiar with Alex Hormozy, the business and marketing guru. Well, you are now, Chad Westport. I'll say it in front of everybody. It's kind of usually our secret, usually behind the scenes sort of talk. But I know none of you humps will actually read Chad Westport. There's my dyslexia. Alex Hormozy. And if anybody in the chat comes back and says that you read Alex Hormozy because of this conversation, I will give you a free Grambo Grows shirt and hat. That's how much I believe in Alex Hormozy. You gotta read Hormozy. High C turned me on to it, and that's essentially the thesis of his second book, $100 Million Leads, where he talks about just like if you answer people's questions, if you give them a lot of answers that end up being true, that's the secret to business: is make a lot of promises that you keep, and then they will give you referrals, aka leads, word of mouth. Like here's a book of how you generate leads, and they go, in a world of online marketing and retargeting, word of mouth, same as it ever was, same as it was 100 years ago.
And one thing that I learned, you know, like extremely well at that company that I worked with is under promise, over deliver. Like do it every time and you will stoke people out. Always intend to like over deliver, but don't oversell. Like that's we see it get people in problems all the time. But again, if you can be consistent and you know what you're good at and you do that, just be that. And if anybody has a problem, freaking take care of it, man. Because again, how well you take care of somebody also kind of helps. Do they come back? So yeah,
and it makes you good. Like chat was saying, like you were saying, like it shows proof of work. And so it was one of those things where like it's the taking the High C will always tease me because I'm always like, High C, like why am I always like taking the hard way? You know, I'll always be like, oh, I'll do it this way. And he goes, bro, life's a game and you choose the hard mode. Like that's the taste of a true artist, you know? Like,
right.
I suppose that's a nice way of saying it. I'll take it.
That's how we learn. That's booty. Wow. I need to ash that.
So hold on.
Sorry.
I just lost my audio. I never forget
Grambo
to
can't hear me. Grambo is a silly fool. He likes wearing leotards and he dances like a monkey around the mirror.
All right.
You hear me
so
now?
Can you hold down the fort for 1 second? I'll be right back, Chad.
Oh, I would love to hold down the fort. Yeah.
I don't know what you just said, but
oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're talking now. We're going.
Then we'll start landing the ship. Sound good? All right, I'll be right back.
So, guys, Grambo grew. Nah, I like Grambo. He's pretty freaking awesome and funny. I don't know if some of you actually have probably had the chance to meet him in person. He's a pretty accessible guy. I never had the chance to see him do his comedy, but he did come and do some comedy with me and a few other guys once. The Tokes and Jokes show was something I just did for fun. We got a bunch of like cannabis people together and we just told probably not nice jokes. We told jokes. It started off as a dad joke kind of thing. And you know me and dad jokes. I love a good dad joke. But when you bring Mr. Magpie around, I'm sure you guys know Mr. Magpie, things tend to get bad. And like I thought this was a good dad joke. No, I'm not going to say it because this is Grambo's channel. I don't want to offend too many people, but Tokes and Jokes, I think, was the name of the show. It's my own channel. I haven't even looked at it forever. Tokes and Jokes, Jokes and Tokes. I don't want to look it up. Hey, he's back. Do you hear me?
I am. I'm supposed to be a professional, like audio guy, a professional person. I cannot fucking figure out what the. Is this going? Is this off?
That was a Hulk Hogan. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
So I have no audio. So I guess we're gonna have to land this plane. This is the weirdest engine I've ever had, Chad Westport. Like, oh. He's messing with me. I can tell. This is the face of a man that's messing with me. Well, seriously, thank you, Chad Westport. Even though I can't hear you now, you know this was an amazing thing. That the whole thing about filming that literally solves a big problem for my growing knowledge, and I'll be giving you a shout out once we get around to that Dude Grows episode. So everybody in chat obviously knows who Chad Westport is, but yeah, over the next few days, this will be seen by at least a couple thousand more people. So for people that don't know who you are, where can they find you?
Oh gosh, I'm glad I didn't hang up yet. I am on Instagram, chad.westport, and the website is up now, chadwestport.com. You can find some gear, you can find my writing, you can find links to different videos. That's all up there. And the YouTube channel, Chad Westport. So yeah, that's what I do. That's where I like to hang out. And
did I come back at the right time? I felt like that was the moment where if I heard you, I go, well, guys, that's where you can find Chad. I lip rigged that he's definitely on Instagram, and you can check out his website, chadwestport.com. And yeah, let's talk more on Instagram about that grape juice. I want to be in the posse, bro.
You got it, bro.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll see you later.
Guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone in chat.
Once
again, no plugs, not sponsored. I'm giving away Silicium on Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, head over there and get that Silicium giveaway. Other than that, that's it. Thank you, guys. Bye. Thanks, Chad. Love y'all.